Well, g'day everyone, it's Christmas Eve and I've got some good news on the PSP closure south of the Narrows Bridge, and that is it's not going ahead. I got an email from Main Road saying it's been postponed until further notice. And I don't know what's happened behind the scenes here. I don't know if Main Road's got completely blindsided by this and they've found out who was doing this work and they've pulled the pin on it, or what happened, but they took action pretty quickly, so yeah, good on you, Main Roads. Now, doing a little bit of digging, Parks and Wildlife, I think, funded this work through whatever department they're a member of. And they might have given a grant to the local council, to a land care group or whoever, and they might have gone ahead and organised the work even without the Parks and Wildlife Department knowing about it, let alone Main Roads. So I imagine there's a bit of a Christmas kerfuffle going on behind the scenes there somewhere whilst this gets sorted out. But what lessons can we draw from this? And not necessarily us as in cyclists, but the agencies that have to do work on or around the shared infrastructure to make sure we don't have these kind of things happening again in the future. Well, first lesson I think is you need to read and understand the Austroads guides. Now, your domain of knowledge might have nothing to do with managing roads and footpaths and things like that. I mean, obviously in this case, they're going to be, the people that are doing the work are going to know everything about riverbank stabilisation and erosion, all that kind of thing, tidal movements and prop wash and stuff, and probably won't know anything about how to do a road closure or path closure and a detour. So if you don't, go and find someone that does. Go and engage a professional that can do all this kind of stuff for you. The guides are all there. You don't have to know it yourself. You just need to know you need to go and find someone that can do this stuff for you. Now, once that's done, I think whoever's involved needs to go and do a pertinent reconnaissance, pertinent recce. That means getting on a bike and going and riding the potential routes. Now, I went and did that myself and found there's a number of potential ways that cyclists could go around this closure. And none of them were particularly good. All the options were bad. It was kind of bad, really bad, and super bad, I guess you could call it. And it's up to someone like a professional traffic manager or whatever to sort that out, work out which is the least bad one and what things they can put in place to remediate the bad stuff, how to stop all the hazards and issues in their tracks. Because you know, if you look at the hourly or daily volume of cyclists that go up and down the PSP, there's like 1,660 according to the traffic counter on average going up and down each day. It's like 860 in one direction and 800 in the other, with over 250 an hour in the peak in the morning. And if you look at some of the places that cyclists were going to have to be squeezed through, if you know whichever detour route was chosen, that would be, well, how would you manage that volume of traffic given the limited amount of path space and road space available? That's where you need to bring in a professional to organise this kind of stuff. So what did the recce show? Well, the first thing is the pedestrian bridge that you'd have to use. It's too narrow to start with. I mean, it was probably put in 50 years ago when or even longer when the freeway was built. And back then, yeah, that was probably a fantastic piece of kit. These days, it's way too narrow for any kind of use, particularly things like motorised wheelchairs and stuff like that. Way too steep to meet any disability standards. I mean, there must be someone in Main Roads who's looking at that kind of infrastructure going, yeah, that doesn't meet any modern standard to do with wheelchair use or anything like that. It's going to have to be replaced one day. But imagine, you know, taking that bridge down over a dirty, great big wide working freeway with a train line down the middle and having to replace it with a modern structure which is 2 or 3 times as wide. I mean, I don't even want to think about it. Let's just move on. Anyway, Mill Point Road, riding on that was really unpleasant due to the volume of vehicle traffic, and at the time of day I was there, it wasn't even peak hour. And you've got to remember, you know, holiday traffic's going to be way down soon, and in January it's probably lower than normal, but you know, people are going to go back to work around Australia Day and it's going to go back to normal and kids are going to go back to school. And what's it going to be like putting cyclists onto Mill Point Road as an option? Probably not good. I mean, it'll be fine for the mammals and the commuters that are kind of hardened to riding in traffic, but there's lots of people that use that path that aren't, you know, part of that group. There's the families with kids and things like that. There's the new cyclists that are a bit unsure of themselves. There's the elderly ones using tricycles and things like that with balance issues. So not a great option. The back roads were much nicer. Simply shifting one street across towards the freeway, it was just beautiful, except getting in and out of those back roads involved using footpaths which were way too narrow and in terrible condition and had awful sight lines in places and just had all sorts of issues. You know, if you're going to use those paths, they could be used, but it would probably take a couple of months of actually redoing them in advance to make them acceptable to carry the volume of traffic. And look, I'm thinking of one path in particular. There's a brick path that goes around the front of an apartment block. And there's a set of stairs coming down from the apartment block onto the path. And I was looking at that going, yeah, it's okay for 1 or 2 cyclists a day going past here. You imagine putting 800 through there in one direction in the morning and 800 on the way back. You know, you can just imagine some pensioner coming out of the apartment at 7 o'clock in the morning and they've got a dog on a leash in one hand and their phone in the other, and the cyclist comes past and it's just disaster. So no. The traffic lights that you have to cross at Mill Point Road, Labouchere Road, that kind of thing, there's no bike signals, not a great option for getting across. Very limited space for parking what could potentially be dozens of cyclists waiting to queue to get across in each direction. So how do you handle that, for instance? Now, one thing I didn't do is I didn't try riding up Labouchere Road, down to the south, essentially. And I think it wouldn't be too bad coming out of the side street onto Labouchere Road going north, because you're just turning left. You know, you only have to look to the right for traffic. But in the evening coming home, you'd have to get from the left-hand side of 2-lane traffic across 2 lanes into this gap in the islands, and then get across 2 lanes of traffic coming in the other direction. Now that's going to be pretty hairy if there's just one of you. Pretty horrible if there's 30 or 40 of you trying to all do that with traffic behind you, traffic in front of you, not much of a gap. How do you manage things like that? Not a good option, like I said. And this is why I think a recce should be done with at least one experienced local cyclist who can talk you through all the issues about traffic and, you know, can you get through this island and what's it like going to the street and all that kind of stuff. But main thing is, got to do a recce on a bike. If you walk it, you're going to miss a hell of a lot of stuff. You have to ride it. All right, second lesson is having all your maps and traffic management plans ready well in advance. I mean, we're here about 3 weeks before this was due to kick off. What I asked Main Roads for was a copy of the detour map that was going to go up on the website, so I could go and ride the detour and just, you know, do a video and analyse it. And could I also see the traffic management plan with all the signage layouts? They didn't mention that in the email at all, and that's possibly because they discovered those things do not exist. So, you know, it's got to be ready well in advance. If they've got the variable message sign up saying there's, you know, going to be a shutdown, then they should have their maps ready at that point in time. And that VMS should have had a map on a core flute or something in front of it. In fact, there were 2 VMSs, or a billboard, or, you know, on star pickets or something nice and big, so we could stop and have a look at it in advance and read the details of what's going on. That would have been super useful. And Main Roads could have put that up on their website as well. West Cycle could have taken it, put it on their webpage. They could have pushed it out through Facebook. They could have emailed that out to all their members so people would know, and all would be good. But the reason I wanted the sign layout diagrams was to actually write it, like write down all the signage in advance. Go and write it and say, okay, they're going to put a left turn sign there, and they're going to put a right turn sign there, and they're going to put a detour sign there. Is that sufficient? Is that going to work? Is it going to be visible as I'm cycling along here, depending on what position I'm taking on the road? For instance, do they need to double up that left turn sign? So there's a left turn sign on the left-hand side of the road, and there's one on the right-hand side of the road. So if this one's blocked by a car or truck or something, this one's visible. You know, just lots of little things like that should be checked out in advance. And obviously, once the signage is put up by the traffic contractor, someone needs to get on a bike and do a recce, or a test ride, user acceptance ride, whatever you want to call it, and do those checks themselves and go, yeah, look, the plan's pretty good, except we need another sign there. Or you actually got us riding past a couple of intersections where, you know, we could turn right, and there's no signage to tell us we should go straight ahead. So at every intersection there should be a sign saying cyclists and pedestrians keep going straight ahead, you're not turning here. Just allow absolutely zero confusion when it comes to that kind of thing. Because if you do allow that confusion, you can guarantee that some people are going to go the wrong way. I mean, that's just a fact of life. Anyway, the third thing is provide advance notice. And look, in this case, they did provide advance notice. That's really good. That's how we discovered this. Variable message signs, they were really clear. No issues with any of that. But, you know, we've seen plenty of detours in 2025 where that hasn't been done. And the first we've known of it is essentially when the fences and bollards and stuff have gone up and suddenly it's closed and the maps aren't very good and there's no information on, you know, on the main road site, or it's inadequate, or West Cycle doesn't know about it. No one's gone and tested it. The signage isn't very good because it hasn't been checked in advance, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, do what this project did. Get variable message signs up. If you can't afford them, go get some core flutes print up. Go get some billboards made up, you know, put some star pickets in. You don't need a heck of a lot of signage. It's not going to cost very much, but, you know, get that stuff out there at least a couple of weeks in advance so people know this is coming. Anyway, that's it. So I guess it's a good little Christmas present to commuters using the PSP that this has been postponed. Hopefully, when they have another crack at it, they'll do a much better job. Whoever it is that's doing this, we have no clue. Yeah, if you're going out on Christmas Day, have a great ride. Don't cook yourself, and see you in the next video.